And so, you started to walk along the brown fall brush again, with your new partner in the adventure. Tamarack had came along behind you with eager skipping steps. She was right. You were going to find that note writer person who knew your name. Soon you reached the head of the path. You were crossed at the crossroad once more, but you'd brought back knowledge and this new girl with you. All right, we did that one. It's where you were. And down there is just a car road. You stood at Tamarack's side, gesturing around animatedly with both hands. You didn't know if that helped her understand better, but you couldn't keep still. But there's that way over there on the other side. You bent your knees, stretched out both arms, and pointed across the forked passage to where the second dirt imprint was. Tamarack couldn't possibly miss it with your direction. With her lips shut to a tight line, she nodded rapidly and with seriousness. But only for a second, then she was perky again. She was having fun and only pretending like she wasn't always so silly. Yeah, okay. Down the tree path for you and me. The decision easily made. Your and her crunching footsteps started up again in unison. And still, your quest continued. The path ended up being kind of a trick. You ran out of dirt to walk on, only after a minute or two, and it became plain grass everywhere. Luckily, you'd only had to keep following the curved bend of brush and tree trunks that separated the forest from the not forest to know where you were going, where you had planned to go. Tamarack hummed a happy tune, not bothered by the change in the ground at all. You made eye contact and started to speak words instead of music. It's good that we're looking this way. Walking down the road that goes to the town would have been a bad idea. Do your Omi and Appa have a rule against that too? I don't know. Oh, then how come? Her eyes went wide. Whatever news she had to give must have been something awful. Oh no. Nate, you have no idea because you just got here, but I've seen it. The town here is bad. The buildings were probably new when my Omi and Appa were 10. It's old and dusty. Nobody's going anywhere or doing anything. They just live in this place, sit around, and do that forever. You could never have fun here. You could never have fun there. She spoke gravely, giving the topic a moment of silence. After that, her spark came back, lighting up her features. But it's all okay since it's right next to here. Tamarack hopped along, directing her stick to the tree line at your sides. Everything in the forest is growing or dying or changing no matter what. You look at one spot, and you look at a different spot, you look back at the spot, and you'll see something new you didn't even notice before. She spread her arms across and up in front of your face playfully. It's magic. Wow, you're right. Then as you strolled even farther, something came into view. You almost didn't notice it at first. Stretching about as high as the trees and made out of practically the same colored wood was a tower sort of thing. The bottom of it was mostly empty space with thin stick poles at the corners and only one full wall. There were little fake rocks stuck to the boards on the wall side, probably for people to climb on. Above was an actual floor with a slanty roof and railings around. Some ropes dangled off of it in multiple places. The thought came to you that it had the same feeling as a treehouse, except not in a tree. It definitely wasn't a real house she might have found at a local playground. A squealing whisper came right into your ear. Tamarack had noticed the wood thing too. Let's go see it. She pulled away from the side of your head to march to the tower without waiting for you to even answer. Curiously, you moved closer until you were right up front, and that's when you came to the shocking realization that there was something up there at the top. I squinted to try seeing more clearly, and your neck bent back so far your head might fall off. You could make out a lumpy pile. I would... Yeah, I would probably test its durability because I'm a thick boy. Use one hand to take hold of the side of the board wall and the other to grasp a fake rock attachment. Planting your feet firmly on the ground, you shoved forward before leaning on your heels to pull back. Even with all your might pushing and tugging the base, you could only get it to creak but not move an inch. Hello? Is somebody home? The sudden sound of clattering ruckus from inside the fort made you flinch in place. It was a scrambling, thudding noise you knew came from movement. That lump stopped being just a lump. It shot up, bent right over the railing, peered down, and saw you. It was another kid. They had a pointy hairline. Yeah, I just wondered, who were they? The silent standoff of surprise played out between you and the stranger. Then altogether, one half of their mouth, one of their eyebrows, and one of their hands shifted upwards. That lopsided pose they had and the fact that they were at the top of the tower made them seem pretty in charge here. Who are you? Why are you in my backyard? Oh, they were in charge here. No, I would just probably apologize. They twisted a smile and leaned over the railing even more. Yeah, there's no fence, but there's a house right over there, and if you look again, you can even see that's the back of a house. And so this is the backyard. My backyard, because I live in that house. You knew what a house was and what a backyard was. This kid was making a joke of you. Yeah, I would say they're clever. The compliment went straight into their smug smile, brightening it even more. Thank you for saying so. After doing her own snooping, Tamarack skipped out from under the tower to join you in the stranger's eye line. She didn't miss a beat, waving and introducing herself to the new person. Hiya, I'm Tamarack. Hey. At that, they pressed the palms of their hands hard against the railing, then used it to kick their legs over the sides and throw themselves right off the fort. Whoa! There was a powerful crunch and gust of air when the person hit the ground just a little to the side of where you were. They landed on their feet, crouching into a ball and making the hood of their jacket flip over their head from the impact from falling so far down. The person stayed like that for long enough that the leaves they stirred up settled quietly and onto the grass again. Then the kids straightened themselves out with more poise than you could have expected. Squared shoulders, chin up, with one hand they pushed the hood down over their back again. They were confident, they knew how to show it. That's that. Yeah, I would probably be like, wow, I'm in my head, you know. They took hold of the open sides of their jacket and flapped them out, shaking off bits of sticks and whatever stuff they got on it when they collided with the dirt. Anyway, they shifted their head around to get their hair back over their shoulders the way it was before and then jabbed a finger into their own chest. I'm Mr. Q Lin. Q-U-I-U and L-I-N. It means both of Q's arms spread out openly, gesturing to the wide world all around. Autumn, nice to meet you. What are your whole names? Through chuckles, Tamarack put on a fake voice that was deeper than her normal one and probably meant to sound mature. I'm Miss Tamarack Bauman. A tamarack is a tree. The introduction got a thumbs up from Q. Cool, Miss Tamarack Bauman. I'll just say, yeah, my name's Nate. Great, but what's your whole name? That's perfect, Mr. Nate. What's up? How old are you two? We seem pretty similar to me. Me and him are the same. 10. Q slapped his fingerless gloved hands against the front of his chest to show how taken aback he was. Whoa, so am I. Nobody else close by was exactly 10 before, and now there's 2 more? Wow, we came at just the right time. You did. And you two are going to grow up someday, and I'm going to grow up too, and that's never going to stop us from being the same age. Cool. Yeah. Okay, then. Q's rapid chuckle sounded more like puffs of air, but you didn't appreciate them either way. What the heck? But the talk you were having ended with a clear clap from Q to bring it to a close. Now that we're people who know each other, I still want to hear what you were doing. I've lived my whole life in this town, in this neighborhood, in that house, and I've never seen either of you anywhere. There's got to be something going on. Tamarack's wide-knowing gaze met yours. You understood what you had to do. Well, you reached right into your pocket and presented the mystery paper to Q, wanting your own explanation. Before he even said anything about it, Q wheezed with a tight grimace. He looked as stiff as the wood tower behind him, just like that. He stammered and babbled and pointed his finger all around the space that was sort of in front of you until the word finally came to him. A sorcerer! What? No, wait. Q threw his hands higher against his shoulders, the sudden movement making sure nothing interrupted his train of thought. You're a thief! That's why you're here, to rob my house. That's right, I'm gonna steal all your stuff. No, you were right before. I'm magic. Sorry, I'm not going to be distracted. Once I see something I don't and see it, I'm like a hawk. Do you really think I'm a robber? He got all fluttery with his laugh and waving his fingers. No, you're just a kid, but you got some good tricks. Q tucked one of his hands inside his jacket. He moved it around in there, humming the whole time. There was some kind of secret pocket or compartment in that coat. Aha! Just as you thought, when he removed his hand, he was grabbing onto something. It was a little notebook. The edges were bent up and crumbly, probably from being squished a lot of ways and a lot of times. And there were papers sticking out in weird ways that made you think they weren't even attached to the book anymore. They were just smashed between other pages to keep them in place. But the thing you noticed the most were the colors, tan with dark brown lines. Tamarack squealed, bounding closer to you. She and you had the same idea at the very same time. It was the paper from the airplane. Q flipped open the book, tapped in a slow, considering rhythm at the front page with the back of his knuckles, and said what you wanted to know without you having to do anything. That's my special paper with my notes on it, but it's not in my notebook. It was in your pocket. You must have done the thing that sleight of hand? Slate of hand? That's what you did to snatch my stuff in the blink of an eye while I was standing right there. So you're a magician or a pickpocket. That's all it could be. He shifted on his feet, putting one hand to his hip and using the other to make a waggling gesture with the notebook. Q was really confident in his accusation against you. Can you show me how you do it? But that wave motion Q did was too much for the old notebook, and it bent in a half upwards and downwards with the momentum of its owner's arm. Some of the paper slid out. They drifted to the ground lightly, the same way leaves fell from trees. He stared at them, sitting on the ground freely like that. Q didn't. Maybe you just lost the paper and that's how Tamarack found it. Yep, you dropped it. No, I never lose things. He said it absentmindedly, still not paying attention to the papers cluttered around his feet. They were pretty much just waiting to blow away in the wind at that point. I would probably tell them, like, oh, you might want to look down. Q's eyes widened. He lifted the notebook over his head and twisted his feet outwards, more to fully clear his view of the grass below. Finally, he spotted the missing pages. Whoa, thanks. In the middle of talking, he dropped to his knee to scoop up the loose papers. It only took a second for each one to be gathered. He leaned off his knees onto his butt and made a little oof sound. From there, he got his feet against the ground while pushing up with his hands, still clutching the paper so he could stand again. With that successful rescue mission done, Q delicately flipped to the pages of the notebook, inserting the loose papers along the way between different pages. He went all the way to the end. Then Q's complete book was pressed shut once more. Hey, that really helped, Nate. A beaming smile directed into your face A beaming smile directed right into your face that almost had you covering your eyes, but before that happened, he looked away. Q twisted to the side to better rummage inside the hidden pocket of his jacket. He made super sure that the entire stack of papers made it back safely this time. You heard a sigh of relief. In an even swooping move, Q tilted his head back over his shoulder to reveal his face again. The bright expression from before was completely gone. He had that smirk again. So, did you see that? I don't lose anything. I would probably laugh. That's not all you expected him to reply, but it was amazing. You had to slouch forward to hold your stomach because it was that funny. I like Tamarack's face before. She was like concerned. Q was fun with your reaction, came out as a set of snickers. His cheeky mood drifted away once those were done. Q twisted to the side to better rummage inside the hidden pocket of his jacket. He made sure that the notebook made it back to its normal spot. When he tilted his face back towards you, he was quiet and thoughtful. This is very mysterious. My paper vanished and 2 new kids appeared in my backyard out of nowhere. I don't get it. Q, I'm your neighbor now. I moved into the middle house on the street. Oh, the new neighbors. That's right. That's you. It makes so much sense. Except for her. His growing excitement scrunched into confusion. Q brought a hand to his chin while also pointing squarely at Tamarack with the other one. I'm pretty positive there was only going to be 1 new kid moving in. Unless you're Nate's mom. Tamarack was completely tickled by the idea, giggling and covering her mouth with her hand. She didn't do a good job at stopping any of the laughter from getting out. No, I'm not a mom. I moved in with my Omi and Appa. Omi and Appa? I've never heard of that. Is that another language? Uh-huh. It's German and they're German. Cool. Thanks, but they already had a house here. It's the gray one. Whoa. There's a granny who lives there and a guy that's your husband? That's your Omi and Appa? I think so, probably. Omi has really long hair. Appa has short hair and some of it's on his face. Omi and Appa means granny and grandpa. Yeah. Q bobbed his head up and down with great understanding. Granny and him have a kid now? Huh, wow. Then Q shook his head side to side, flopping dark brown strands of hair around, trying to sort out his thoughts. But if you're not just new neighbors, not thieves or sorcerers, how'd you know that was my paper? I didn't know, not for sure. What were you showing my notes off to everyone that you saw in the world? Yeah, that was kind of the idea. Huh? You knew it would be a long story, so you took in a huge breath. Tamarack put her fists up, eagerly in her own preparation to talk about what she had done. Got here today with my mom. She's waiting for the real estate agent, so I had to go spend time doing something. I went down the road and a paper airplane hit me in the shoulder and nobody was there. That was me. I threw it and ran away. I threw it and ran away. It was great. I picked it up and opened the plane, saw the stuff written on it. I thought the person throwing the airplane was trying to give me a message. But it wasn't me who wrote it. Right. Then Nate went into the forest after and I surprised him by jumping out of the leaves. Q nodded along, probably not getting everything you two were talking about, but curious enough to keep listening. Then I made her talk about the paper airplane I found. She told me what we said, that she made the plane but didn't write what was on it, and I asked where she got it. Tamarack chimed in again as your story continued to bounce back and forth between the two of you. I found it on the ground, in the woods. It already had the note, but I didn't think it was important at first. Nate made me wonder about it. We went out to discover the word writer, and it was you. Huh. Q put his hands on his hips as he thought hard about the info he'd learned from you. You're saying that was all random stuff for fun? You're saying all this was random stuff for fun? I guess so, and if you are the one who wrote that, how did you know my name? That was on the note, and what were those other words supposed to mean? Hello, go out, hide out, Nate, what's up? It doesn't make sense. Oh. Q cracked a smile and flicked on his arms to start his own explanation. That's just stuff I was gonna do. Counting 1, 2, 3 on his fingers, Q listed off each part of the letter simply. Hello, say hi to people around, go out, visit the town or other neighborhood or whatever. Hideout means go to my hideout. Q stopped the countdown to pat the sturdy wooden wall behind him with pride. Right here. If that's a hideout, why would you tell me? I like your hideout. I do too. All right. For your name being there, my mom and dad told me. They talked about how people were moving in next door and how there was going to be a kid my age and that his name was Nate. What's up? It was cool to me, so I wrote it down that way I wouldn't forget. And I even took out and read the page a lot to make sure it'd be something I remembered. Looks like I forgot after all. Yeah, I would say that fondly. Q patted the front of his jacket with all the surety in the world. You guess that was where the pocket with the notebook was set. More like an organized brain. That's pretty crazy with the paper airplane. It's really impressive you two put the whole thing together. He was right, and you and Tamarack had now been able to discover the whole story. Tamarack found your paper on the ground. With wrinkled brows, Q shifted his hands to the side of his head so he could instead tug at the front strands of his hair, pulling them out fully straight. I don't know how it's possible. Are you too sure you're not sorcerers or thieves after all? Yes. Too bad. Q finished his point, straightening up and putting his hands solidly on his hips. He was back to being in control. You know, there's nobody out there who's perfect. I accept my mistake, and I'm sorry to you, Forrest, for messing up the place. I think it forgives you. Cool. It's really nice of you to say, Q. Thanks. You realize suddenly how late it must have gotten. Your mom would start to worry soon. That wasn't good. Your turning thoughts were put on pause when Q suddenly changed the subject. Hey, Nate, Tamarack, I'll walk you around back to the front. I want to hang out more. I should probably see how Omi and Appa are. They're pretty old and need help sometimes. Yeah, we could all go back together. Yeah. You're relaxing your stance, accepting that this was really all over now. Yay. Her cheer had extra pizzazz, because that's all she had to... Her cheer had extra pizzazz, because she still had that stick to point up high. To our houses. While chuckling, Q used his fist to enthusiastically punch the air. It matched Tamarack's pose. Homeward bound. Yeah, I'll smile at them. And so you started to walk through the yellowed fall grass to get to the neighborhood again. You weren't going to be alone there. Tamarack bounded ahead, bouncing her arm up and down with the stick like she was the conductor of a marching band, while Q came alongside you with even casual steps. You were returning to that house. Your new neighborhood had become even more orange toned by the time you finally returned to it. The far-off sun slowly sank The far-off sun slowly sank away behind the tallest mountains and forests to sleep for the night. Your shadows grew larger, pulling away from your bodies to reach out into the street ahead. The dark shapes morphed and combined with one another as you walked in your own mismatched rhythm. All while the eyeballing chillingness of the outside world got more powerful bit by bit. Tamarack still stayed about 2 steps ahead. Sometimes she was closer and sometimes she got away from you again. She used your stick to knock at the bushes and lamps along the sidewalk. Q was next to you, but had switched things up so that he was taking large skips backwards. You guessed it was to look at you in the face better, or he just thought it was fun. He pointed out the sharpest building on the street as he went. Part of it looked like almost a tower, different kind than the one in the backyard. See, that's the house from the front. It's great. And that's your house, right? The one in the middle? And Granny owns that even further away one? Mm-hmm. Cool. The sounds of your steps continued to echo through the cul-de-sac until you came to a stop right in the center of the path. You'd arrived. Tamarack put both of her hands up in front of her chest and waved them around. I'm going home. Tamarack spun in place before dashing further along the sidewalk to the sloped gray house on the other end of the neighborhood. Her bag clunked and jingled at her side the whole way there. Bye. Okay, this is it. Q pulled out an eager grin. We've got to meet up again later. See you. Q flipped around to go back the same way he had come with you. He needed to return to the red pointy house with a huge backyard. He didn't drop any papers this time. You waited there in front of the house in the dimming evening light, watching the 2 other kids go to their homes right on the same street. It was cool to meet you 2. Yeah. That was everything. The whole outing was done. In the quiet resolution of your first day in this place, the 2 encounters you had earlier that afternoon drifted through your head. Tamarack and Q. Now you're at the stage where you'll be set your dynamic with Tamarack and with Q. Encompass how your character and that character feel about one another and how they generally interact with each other. Doesn't determine if your character is shy or confident. Gone through phrasing and actions. Relationship standing. Whoa. Five main options for your relationship standing are neighbors, friends, family, crushes, and beloved. Neighbors mean there's someone you know and it's something more meaningful than that. Whether it's amicable or completely cold or even hostile is up to you. Friends mean that you're friends. While this standing, it's possible to go even deeper and have them be your very best friend, but that's not set on the dynamic screen. It's the normal choice. Family means you can love them and will always keep them in your life in a fully platonic way. You can't choose to love someone this deeply until later steps, once you've known them longer. Yeah. Crushes mean you and them have crushes on each other. Okay. And it's partners instead of crushes. It's possible you've been crushing on both. Get into a relationship, you'll automatically go into being friends with the character you're not dating. You won't be able to keep expressing romantic interest. Cool. Beloved means you truly love them and will always keep them in your life in a clearly romantic way. Cool. Okay. There's a lot of information. I'm sorry. I like cool. But like, damn. Tamarack to you. She's contesting, praising, and accepting. I like to admire her. Like to make jokes. I like her. I don't know. Do I have to pick one? I do have to pick one. Oh, do I want to be like best friends or crushes? We'll pick her. Screw it. Screw it. I'll follow him. I think I'm pretty unassuming. I like looking out for him. Could be buddies. He seems cool. He reminds me of like Go from Pokemon. Things are so different for you from just that morning when you left and went on Drive to Move. Before then, you'd never been in Golden Grove. You'd only seen it in pictures and hadn't known anybody who was a local there. But here you are, a person who lived in the town and was friends with the neighbors on both sides of your house who also lived there. Were you friends? You thought so. And even though she wasn't here anymore and a bunch of other things had happened that day, Tamarack was the only thing on your mind. What was it like when you first saw her in that leaf pile, when you started to talk to and know her, all that stuff with the paper airplane? She was special. The air outside kept getting even colder, but you were still warm on the inside. It was nice and comfortable in the place you were. Getting even more lost in your own imagination, you wondered when you'd get to see her again. Hey, is that you? Your mom called from over the fence. Coming. You bounded forward and pressed through the gate. Mama left the porch and was there to meet you. Thank you for coming back. I'm sure you were having an exciting time out there. Oh my god. I met people, Mom, yeah. I'm so glad. I look forward to hearing all about it. From strength to strength, we got the key to the house. The agent finally arrived about 20 minutes ago. They're gone now, but I haven't peeked yet. Both of us should be here for this. It's your house, too. Yeah, this is our house now. Absolutely. Come on. Mom turned to go and slipped the key out from her sweater pocket. She gestured with the other hand for you to follow. Your mom led the way as you went back up the stairs. The key fit perfectly into the hole in the door, and Mom smiled at the sound of an unlocking click. Carefully, she leaned forward with her shoulder, giving it a nudge, unsure if the best option for the ancient door was extra force or extra restraint. The house opened with a creak. Air came out through the front like it was exhaling. Mom let out a breath at the same time. Over here, Nate, there's space for you to get a little closer. You can see inside here. You scoots towards your mom's side of the doorframe. It was then that you noticed there was a mat at the front. It had a light color and kind of hard but fluffy texture. That sort of mat that'd get dirty looking right away when it was used, but it was still clean and nice. It hadn't been worn down like all the rest of the building. Just put this there. Written across the top, it said, "Welcome home." Mom softly tapped the top of your shoulder, bringing you back into the moment. She kept the hand there, leading you ahead with her. The two of you walked through the door. Everything in the air was still. The wind was blocked, but it was practically as cold inside as it was out of the house. Mom shifted forward cautiously, feeling around for a light switch. Got it. A dim light from the ceiling sparked in an instant, and there in front of you was an old-fashioned living room. The house had furniture that came along with it, but it wasn't a set. The pieces were mismatched, each chair, table, and bookshelf in a different color. They were covered in transparent sheets of plastic and in dust. The room had a real fireplace made out of brick, and in the back you could see a staircase going up to another floor. Beautiful. It's even better than the photos. So much potential inside these walls. Yeah, you had to admit it was cooler than you had let yourself hope for. Your mom touched the tips of her fingers to the muted blue paint next to her. We'll have to clean as much as we can to make it livable before bed. It'll be a long night. We can unpack more of our things tomorrow, though I'll be doing much of that on my own. We're going to be busy. You're going to be busy. Mom increased the pitch of her voice, squinting her eyes sweetly. After all, it's the first day of 5th grade. I would get lost, thinking about it. She chuckled gently while watching you. We got here just in time, huh? Her eyes drifted closed and there was a crease in her eyebrows. She seemed further away without having gone anywhere. Even if I'm here early for the job, I was not going to make you be a full week late to class. Being new to a town like this is already going to make you a point of attention. Couldn't tell if she thought it was a good thing or a bad thing by her tone, but Mom didn't say any more about that. She lifted her circle scarf over her head, careful not to have it catch on her earrings, and left it on top of the suitcase. So you want to see the upstairs? Not really, but I'll go. More of the same. Lots of dust. Yeah, dusty. You returned to the living room. After Mom got her trusty pair of crafting scissors from her suitcase, she put her scarf inside it while taking the scissors out. Yep. Just getting cleaning supplies. Then you left the window to do its job and got back to yours. The two of you went back and forth, up and down around the house to open up everything you could. Some windows were jammed in place so tight you had to leave it alone for your mom to get it later. So we're just like cleaning up the house. Short dinner break with your mom, standing around in the kitchen. Together, two of you as dusty as the rest of the house. It was packed meals from the car. Sandwiches. Okay, food. No groceries. Oh, yeah, thank God. I agree, thank God. Trash from your food was dumped in the same giant black garbage bag. Yeah. Yeah. Your mom polished the house she could for even more hours. Bedtime arrived. Your mom explained how she'd do around to the whole house to keep busy until the bathroom was free and left you to get ready to sleep. Yeah. After how dirty it got, and it was satisfying to get clean. I agree. Took your glasses off for bed. Changed the PJs. Special blanket. It wasn't something you could sleep without. Furniture was still plastic wrapped, so you crouched down and sat on the rug. Mom returned a couple minutes. Purple pajamas. Yep. That'll be mine. Okay. There, Ernie, already. Okay. We need to get some wood so we can actually use that fireplace on nights like these. Your mom know how to use a fireplace? You'd never seen one in person until now, and so far you'd never seen one that had fire in it. Luckily, the house was warm and cozy. Even without that, since the windows stopped letting the chill in, the heater worked. That was sort of a surprise to you. Thank you for your help with the house today. It'll be home before we know it at this rate. Yeah. Yeah, I would probably ask her. Tell the story. What a way to spend an afternoon. I'm proud of you, Nate. You're a bona fide detective. I had no idea you got into a winding journey. I would just keep it. It's odd imagining. Why is this getting so loud? Imagining having this entire building collecting dust all this time. It's a charming house. How do we get something like this? Yeah. I was asked to relocate. Shut yourself before a frown could follow. Oh, but that's not an issue. I'm grateful. I would, yeah. It certainly is. Your mom stretched your legs fully out. Okay. We didn't hang out together during bedtime like this most nights. It was special. Yep. Like a loaf of bread and grocery bag. Good night. Yeah. There wasn't the sound of cars passing outside. There was a thumping in your ears, and you thought you might have heard a creak somewhere. The night noises were different than what you had experienced with. They were so quiet and distant, it made you notice them more than if they were clearer. You'd have to get to know the sounds better. It was another part of the house's personality. You know, what's thoughts of... let's say, do I want it to be that basic? I would be nervous about school, I think. Oh, I don't need it. So let's do that. This is about an hour in, so I don't know if this will be part 1 or if I'm gonna cut this up. I guess we'll see. I kind of don't know how to feel. It feels I don't want to say it's weird. It just I don't do anything like this. I wanted to really try something different and kind of like test my own self, but I'm kind of like kind of not my thing. I'm like curious to where the story's gonna go, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't even it's not like bad. It's just like I don't know if this is like my cup of tea personally. I feel like the commenters, you guys will have to let me know if you actually like this or not. Because I think it's interesting and like my curiosity is piqued, but like I don't know how far it is. So if you want to see more, please let me know. Feel free to subscribe as well. Check out my other videos on other indie games, and I have Animal Crossing, Dream Island stuff. Follow me on social media at WassupNate and at WassupNate on Instagram as well. I guess I'll see you on the next one, and we'll see if we're even going to do a part 2. Please, I might even split this up into multiple parts because it went longer than I thought it would. So anyway, see you on the next one. Bye for now.